Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of 15 Cards. So this particular 15 cards comes from a Dominaria Remastered Draft Booster Pack. So my third and final one of these. So let's do what we always do with this series. We'll look at the 15 cards in question at a respectful distance where you can see the whole card, and then we'll go through and focus in so we can really get into the artwork. So starting off with the commons, we have Urborg Uprising. So 4 and a black sorcery, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, draw a card. Emerald Charm. I rather hope one of these was going to come up because I've been talking about charms recently on the Scryfall Shenanigans episode. So yeah, single green to cast, and this is now in its sort of new modal format as opposed to the original version of this where, you know, the text would have all been sort of scrunched up. So yeah, Emerald Charm, single green, choose one. Untap target permanent, destroy target non-aura enchantment, and target creature loses flying until end of turn. So those are the 3 things you get to choose from. Avarax, 3 and 2 red for a 3/3 creature beast with haste. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a card named Avarax, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. 1 and a red, Avarax gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Impulse, 1 and a blue instant. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Ecatian Javelineers, single white 1/1 creature human soldier. When it enters the battlefield with a javelin counter on it. Tap, remove a javelin counter from Ecatian Javelineers. It deals 1 damage to any target. Sukatar Lancer, 2 and a red 2/2 creature human knight with haste and flanking. So with flanking, whenever a creature without flanking blocks this creature, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Wormfang Drake, 2 and a blue 3/4 creature nightmare drake with flying, and when it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you exile a creature you control other than Wormfang Drake. When Wormfang Drake leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. We have a Vigilant Sentry, 1 and 2 white 2/2 with Threshold. It's a creature human nomad. So with Threshold, as long as 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, Vigilant Sentry gets +1/+1 and has tap, target attacking or blocking creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn, and it's a 2/2. We have an Ornithopter in here. 0 to cast for a 0/2 with flying. So we're now with the Flesh Reaver onto our uncommons, or 1 and a black 4/4 creature, Phyrexian Horror. Whenever Flesh Reaver deals damage to a creature opponent, Flesh Reaver deals that much damage to you. 1 and a black for 4/4. Okay, so Voice of All was in this remastered set then. 2 white 2/2 creature angel with flying. When it enters the battlefield, you get to choose a colour, and it has protection from the chosen colour. Gerard's Verdict, 1 and a black sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards. You gain 3 life for each land card discarded this way. We have our rare, which is Opposition, 2 and 2 blue enchantment. Tap and untap creature you control. Tap target artifact, creature or land. What else do we have here? Okay, so we have an old style border chain lightning. Excellent. Single red, deals 3 damage to any target, and that player or that permanent's or that permanent's controller may pay 2 red. If the player does, they may copy this spell and may choose a new target for that copy. We have a nice old style border planes here, and then a squirrel token. Okay, so I'll put the squirrel token to one's... Actually, no, let's zoom in on the squirrel. Okay. So we will zoom in on our artwork. Oh, that was pretty good. I don't think I'm going to get much closer than that without it going a bit weird. Okay, that's pretty creepy. You can see the faces there on the very strange bodies. Yeah, emerging as spirits there. Ah, Emerald Charm. Favourite. I think I pulled an Avarax in a previous pack. I'm sure we can think of several magic cards which have that sort of tutoring for other cards with the same name. That's very nice. Alright, this one, what have we got in the background? Anything out of the ordinary? I don't think so. I think we have a number of javelineers there. Javelineers, yeah. Some nice, that's sort of like mid-period in magic artwork, I suppose, where the art side is sort of tightened up a little bit. Wasn't necessarily quite so abstract as maybe some of the earlier artwork in Magic. And I always felt it had a certain quality to it at the time. Hopefully this is quite an older card. I'll be pretty silly if it's something fairly recent, but that's what it anyway makes me think of. I suppose that period, around about, what would you say? I say old, but yeah, sometime around 7th edition-ish, 8th edition, somewhere around there maybe. I'm not sure where that was reprinted from actually, but it may be earlier. I'm not very good, I must admit, remembering which sets in particular this pulls from. Obviously the idea was it's from stuff on the plane of Dominaria, but they did specifically miss out certain sets they could have pulled down from, I believe. Okay. Got a bit of posing going on in the background there. It's like someone's... Hang on, let me get my customary pointer out. Yeah, it looks like someone's telling a tall story there. It was this big. Maybe, I don't know. Some sort of bartering maybe, or maybe it's just a philosopher pointing their finger to the heaven and going, and another thing. I do love the artwork on this. Once you start to really sort of look for all these really like little nice touches, there's really nice sort of cloud formation. I do like the other style. There is another fairly distinct version of the artwork, I think, as well. Phyrexian horror, so no doubt it's going to be the stuff of nightmares, as always. It's a horror. Yeah, I've always found this artwork pretty strange, if a little disturbing. But I supposedly mostly remember that from the Jewels of the Planeswalker games, because it was in one of the decks for that, I believe. Now, here's the thing. This looks, for some reason, there is a legendary character in Magic who this just made me think of, and the trouble is I can't remember the name, but I can remember the card. It's going to bug me. But yeah, I think it's more the style of the armour than necessarily how the person looks. Is it Krovax, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, let me know in the comments section if you if that is a specific character they're alluding to there and who it might be. Opposition. Not sure when this was printed originally. It's when I look at these sometimes I think, you know, it's the sort of card where I don't know how the foil version of this would look, but the this effect here that you have in the background, I can imagine that with the right foiling would look really cool if it made these two characters sort of pop out in the foreground. This card always intrigued me. I remember when I first looked at my first, what would it be, vintage red decks, and I think this was the card I used to see in it. And at the time I was probably most familiar with Bolt, with Lightning Bolt. But there were a number of other cards from early in Magic, which I think at the point I became aware of Lightning Bolt hadn't been reprinted, or hadn't been reprinted many times, and Chain Lightning was one of them. And I always really loved this artwork as well. I thought it was really cool. Oh yeah, this is a bit of a classic piece of artwork. Not good at remembering what set on the plane of Dominaria this was from, but yeah. Very nice. And there's our squirrel. Okay, so thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.